This program is proudly brought to you by Telecom Limited and Daytech.
Good night, Papua New Guinea. I'm Malcolm Wyra, and welcome to another episode of Infocus. Today, we are joined by the Independent Consumer and Competition Commission Commissioner, Mr. Paulus Ain, and Mr. Jack Timmy, Executive Manager for Prices and Productivity Division. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Malcolm and EMTV for having us tonight.
Firstly, just from the outset, Commissioner Ain, given that there is a lot of misconception of ICCC's role and responsibilities, can you clarify for the benefit of our viewers?
Yeah, thank you. A very important question that, as always, Papua New Guineans have been asking, what is the ICCC doing this during this period of pandemic and prices, inflation and all this stuff. But our responsibility basically is price monitoring and few price control. The Consumer Affairs Council that has the responsibility over the consumer protection function and the price control unit back then with the Department of Treasury that controls much of the goods and services have been deregulated and established the ICCC. Under the ICCC, we only have three price monitored items or goods. That is flour, rice, sugar. That's three price monitoring only. For price control, we only have petroleum products or fuel. Then we have the SOEs, PNG Power we used to have, but they've been taken away. Telecommunications we had, they've been taken away by other regulators. Now we have PNG, Post PNG, we have port services and water PNG. So these are control prices are controlled in another regulatory arrangement.
From the ICCC's perspective, how would you describe the PNG economy in its current stage?
People have different views about this situation that we are currently going on. From the ICCC's perspective, these are challenges brought into our economy by what has been happening globally. So the challenges we experienced are impacted on our economy and our internal challenges that we are experiencing.
Now, Jack, what are the main determinants of prices of goods and services in Papua New Guinea?
I think in PNG, so basically, we are an import-dependent country. Most of the goods, especially the goods that we consume here in the country, is imported from overseas markets. So one of the key drivers of prices in the country at the moment is actually imported inflation. That means the prices of goods and services are increasing outside of the country, and we are bringing it in, and the prices are going up. So that's the issue. That's one of the main issues at the moment. Because we are experiencing inflation in the country and globally as well. So when it's happening outside, it's affecting us in the country when we're bringing in these goods. At the same time, you would have noted that the value of the kina has been sliding since last year. So this is one of the key determinants that also affects import costs of businesses in the country. So that is something that, apart from that, we also have in-country costs that also affects businesses in the country, like, ongoing power blackouts. If you are running a big factory, something like that, the cost of using standby generators is huge. The cost of security is huge in the country. If you have a factories in other countries, they don't have the kind of cost that our business face in the country. That's why some of the goods that we have in the country at the moment are expensive compared to goods that are brought in from overseas. So these are challenges that the country has been facing for some time. So they all contribute to the sale price of goods and services in the country. So these are things that, but I think at the moment, with the current economic conditions in the country and overseas, the key driver of inflation and the prices of goods and services in the country is to do with the imported inflation that I talked about.
Is the ICCC governed by specific legislation?
The ICCC was established in 2000 and then came into effect in 2022 under the ICCC, or Independent Consumer and Competition Commission Act. And we also have other subsidiary legislations like the Prices Regulations Act. So they drive the ICCC in terms of its regulatory and competition powers.
Gentlemen, thank you. We now go for a quick break. Join us on the other side for more discussions. Welcome back to Infocus. Now, Mr. Ayn, what is the current trend in prices and inflation in the country as per the ICCC's assessment?
Thank you. I think two different things that we need to understand. That's one, pricing, and the other thing is inflation. Inflation is a function that rests with the Bank of Papua New Guinea, and it deals with it through the monetary policy tools to address inflationary issues in the country. The ICCC's role is the pricing. Whilst the two somehow they work together, inflation causes prices to go up. So what we do is we try to make sure that the prices that business houses charges are not over and above or unnecessarily ripping off our consumers. So the confusion always there is people think that ICCC controls inflation. I would strongly encourage everyone that ICCC does not have any role in the inflation. So the appropriate agencies responsible, they deal with inflationary issues in the economy, are the Bank of Papua New Guinea. So in an attempt to address issues concerning the prices in the country, we are mixed with these issues again, so we understand where most people are coming from. But the current price trends in the country, the prices over the last 12 months back in 2002 have been increasing. And that is as a result of what Jack has been saying earlier on about importing inflation and inflation that is across the other global economies that we brought into our economy. So from our assessment recently and the beginning of this year, by looking at some prices are trending downwards now. Others are increasing, but not at the speed or very fast like we have seen earlier on. So other products or goods that are coming, they're slowly seeing a decline, but slowly. But others are trending up, but at a slower pace. So we are looking at a mixture of price movements.
Now, Jack, how does the ICCC conduct its price surveillance activities?
So this price surveillance activity that we are currently undertaking, it actually commenced in 2021, following the pandemic that was faced globally and as well as in the country. So at the moment, the price surveillance activities that we are actually undertaking is not undertaken necessarily under the ICCC Act or the prices regulation. It's under the National Pandemic Office. The National Pandemic Act, and what we have been doing is that the National Pandemic Act since 2021 has been issuing price orders, and we've been implementing it. So as part of the price surveillance activities in relation to the goods that are declared under those price orders, we go out to the shops and we look at the prices of those goods, and then over the period of the order, when it is still in effect, we'll go back again to check those prices to see if they are complying with the price order. So basically the price order that was issued by the controller was that if businesses want to increase their prices for the declared goods under that order above, like to increase the price of the goods by 10%, they can go ahead. But if they want to increase above 10%, then they have to come and approach the ICCC for approvals. So that's what we've been doing. So basically, it's an ongoing exercise. There was so far we have received about 3 orders, and the other 2 has expired. The one that we are currently implementing at the moment, order 4 was issued last year. So last year, towards the end of last year, we went throughout the country, all the shops throughout the country, all the districts in the country, to collect the sell prices of the declared goods. And now we have recommenced the enforcement side of the order. We are going out and rechecking the prices of those goods and services. We started in NCT and we'll be going to all the provinces and districts to enforce the price order. That means if you are non-compliant, you might be issued with a fine by the Commission and an infringement notice, and the fine at the moment is about 10,000 kina. So I think in NCD alone, over the past week, we have issued about 86 infringement notices to businesses in the city. When we went out to collect prices last year, we did make it very clear to them that they have to come forward and approach us. So some of the discussions we are having at the moment is through our engagement with the business houses. They've been telling us, the import costs are going up, all these things. So we are aware of that. So when they come and tell us about things, show us the invoices and what sort of prices are going up, then we allow them to pass through those costs, because it's important that they continue bringing in those goods in. Otherwise, we might have a shortage in the market. It's important that they also cover their cost. So that's the whole exercise we are undertaking.
I can come in a little bit here. If, what we are doing is the ICCC Act and the Price Regulations Act does not provide for. We are doing it over and above our mandate, because the legislation is not giving us that mandate to price control or get out there and inspect the shops and do all these things. If we try to wait back and hold back, then we will not be doing anything to help our people and the society and the communities at large. So what we have done is we've gone to the controller. At that time, the emergency control order here. So this is something extraordinary the ICCC is doing to assist our consumers at the moment. So until such a time, if the order goes away, then it will go away. So, but for now, our team, we have a limited resource, about 80 staff, and we're traveling the breadth and width of this country. And the resource itself is not enough for us to get the full team deployed. So in NCD, we've covered it. Now we're deploying others starting Monday. They are going into the provinces. So business houses, they're well aware. They've been informed. But there are some deceptive practices by those business houses, and we are appealing to them. You don't do this. Once when we catch them up, they are issued with fines. So our appeal to the business houses and the consumers that we are doing in this challenging time what we can do for the people of this country.
Now, Jack, how can the public report violations in terms of pricing of goods and services by businesses?
I think they can, it's always there. We have offices that they can come and report their complaints with. We have an office here the head office here at Garden City, not Garden City, but the old Boroko Post Office. We are at level 2, and we also have offices in Kokopo, Mount Again, and Ley. So they can always go in there. And we also have offices that have been engaged by the Commission as
BDOs, Business
Development Officers. They actually work with the provincial governments in other, like business development officers in the provinces, and we have engaged them to work on our behalf in the provinces. So
we have signed MOUs.
Yeah. We have signed MOUs with, like Commissioner said, we have signed MOUs with the provinces to help us with our work, because, like he said, we have limited resources. We need more offices, and we need more resources to be able to cover the whole country adequately. Yeah, that's the challenge we have. With this price surveillance thing that we're currently undertaking, there are only 80 of us in the office, and we have to deploy everyone out of the office, not just technical officers. We include drivers and everything. We train them and even cleaners to collect prices and things like that, because we don't have enough manpower to do this. And this is a big challenge for us. We need financial resources as well. It's very expensive going to all the provinces and all these kind of things. So, but we've been fortunate over the past 2 years that we had got some government assistance to enable us to carry out this important work. Throughout the country. So these are things that...
And our good treasurer has always been very supportive in this exercise. And apart from our recurrent budget, he gives additional at least $1 million kina or two that sustains, imagine the entire country we're covering with a budget of 2 million kina with all these 80 people. So we've done very well over the years, and this exercise now we've started, so we're looking forward to covering the country as well. Then we submit reports back to Treasury and the Minister himself.
Thank you, gentlemen. We now go for a quick break. Join us on the other side for more discussions. Welcome back to Infocus. Now, Jack, given that we are currently feeling some of the cascading impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, how are you engaging with the National Pandemic Office to ensure that you monitor and control prices of essential items, which you touched on earlier a bit?
Yeah, so basically this exercise came about because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And according to the WHO, we're still in a pandemic period. So that's why the work that we are currently undertaking is through the National Pandemic Act. They've issued orders to us to go out and monitor the prices and to ensure that there is no price gouging in the market. So that's the important point that we are trying to do. It's essentially not necessarily to control the price, but to prevent price gouging in the market. That means, if you are selling something in your shop and your prices, your costs are going up, then you should be able to recover those costs only, not to try to take advantage of the inflation situation we have in the country, or some kind of natural disaster or something like that, and you just jack up your prices to take advantage of that because consumers don't have a choice. So basically, the aim of this exercise we are undertaking at the moment throughout the country is to prevent price gouging. So that's what we are trying to do at the moment.
Okay. Now, Mr. Ain, as you are aware, there is a current fuel crisis in the country. How is the ICCC intervening in its capacity to ensure price stability in the price of fuel?
Thank you. This is a very important question that I think everyone out there is waiting. And I think what has actually happened over here is that Puma has been, coming on into the market, going off due to issues between the government and itself. But ICCC, as the regulator of the industry, we saw this was coming. So we had some initial discussions with existing industry operators. And eventually we agreed with them to divert some of these shipments intended for other economies. So whilst we've agreed and we brought them on board, they are willing to supply the market now. So that's a good thing that the ICCC has done, and we're looking forward to maintaining this discussion and dialogue with them over the few months. But we learned that Puma has come back into the market, so we hope that they remain in the market.
Finally, what are some of the major reforms or amendments to the ICCC Act will your administration be implementing in the coming years?
There are a number of amendments. That one is the CCF review, what we call it, Consumer and Competition Review. The legislation itself. ICCC Act is more of a competition legislation. So it's overlived its time, and we are undertaking this review with the assistance of Treasury. That's the main review that we are undertaking. And then we have the Harbours Act review. Most of the ports that we regulate and other ports now they are existing, they operate on their own. So we're trying to bring them into our radar to make sure that they operate within the ambit of our regulatory responsibility. We're also looking at reviewing the existing price monitoring arrangement with the possibility of price controlling some of these goods in the event that, with the situation we are currently experiencing, presents us a situation where we need to go back to price control on some of these goods. So these are some of the exercises we are planning to undertake. And the other major reviews that we have, a petroleum product review that is coming on board, Jack and the team are now currently undertaking. We've gone through the ICTSI, the monopoly that the government has given. We've undertaken some stevedoring and handling review. We've come out with some very interesting findings that led to the reduction of prices, but the incumbent challenged us in court. We are in court now. So if whatever outcome, it'll benefit the economy in a larger scale. So amidst a lot of exercise reviews undertaken in some of these monopoly products that the ICCC price monitors. So in trying to do this, we are presented with the current situation, so we have to pull all the resources out, deploy them into the provinces. So these are some legislative framework reviews that we are currently undertaking.
Commissioner Paulus Ain and Jack Timmy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for EMTV and the viewers.
Well, viewers, that's all the time we have for this edition of Infocus. Do join us again next week, Monday, on our regular time slot of 7 p.m. Till then, good night.
This program was proudly brought to you by Telecom Limited and Daytech.